Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to improve our English. We want to improve our vocabulary. The way we do so is by learning a few new words every day. Today is our day number 33. Yesterday, on day number 32, we learned few words, and one of the words that we learned was seed, C-E-D-E, seed, which simply means to officially or formally surrender a possession of something. Another word that I wanted to cover while I was talking about seeding something, and inadvertently I left it out, we're going to cover it today. The word is, don't confuse seed with secede. Secede means to formally break off from a country, to form a new country. The noun is secession. The word that we want to learn today, which sort of relates to seeding seeding means to officially or formally surrender a possession of something, like a title or a position. Let's learn a new word that we want to cover today. As I said before, I wanted to cover it yesterday on day number 32, but inadvertently I left it out. The word is abdicate. Let's learn it together, shall we? Abdicate is the word, which means to officially and formally, as you can see, to officially and formally surrender or relinquish or surrender, if you like, just like here, to officially or formally relinquish or surrender possession of something. Relinquish or surrender a position of power. Position of power or title or even responsibility. That's what the word means broadly speaking, abdicate. So if you have a headmaster and the headmaster is going to retire or asked to leave for whatever reason, he's abdicating his position as the headmaster or headmistress, and for these Americans who are watching, the principal. So if you are a principal and if you give up your position, you are abdicating it. That is the meaning of the word in a very broad sense. Narrowly speaking, this word is usually used in a very narrow sense to mean to give up throne or a crown. So if a king or a monarch or a queen is asked to relinquish her position, and if she does so, then she is abdicating the throne or the crown. But that's a very narrow definition of the word. The word has a much broader meaning, as I explained here. So they're sort of related, seed and abdicate. Abdicate is usually used more in the context of giving up a throne or a power or a position, whereas here it could be something, as you can see. That's all. Let's go on then. Let's learn a new word. The words that we're going to learn today after this particular word have nothing to do with abdicating or ceding something. They're completely unrelated. Because as I said, this was a word that I wanted to cover yesterday and I forgot about it, so we did it today. Let's move on then. The very first word that we want to learn today is impromptu. Impromptu, or some people like to pronounce it as impromptu. They are both considered correct pronunciation. What does it mean? To do something impromptu in an impromptu manner is to do something. It means impromptu means impromptu means something that is done. Let me put it in the capital letters for those of you who are not familiar with this thing. Something that is done on the to do something on the spur of the moment means to do something without pre-planning, without having thought about it ahead of time. To do something that is done without any pre-planning. Something that is done the word is spontaneous, so something that is done spontaneously. We need an adverb. Something that is done offhand. Let's talk about the offhand. It's hyphenated. To do something offhand, well, I'm not. It's not hyphenated actually. I take it back. There is no hyphen. Now I got paranoid. Now it's going to make me wonder if it is or not, if offhand is hyphenated or not. Because as I told you before many times, I have a very little confidence in my ability to spell things correctly. Yeah, it's not hyphenated. I do, however, as I have told you also before many times, have a great deal of confidence in my ability to muck up the spellings. Even the simplest words. So, what does it mean to do something offhand? Well, to do something offhand means to do something without any pre-planning, without any premeditation, without any thought ahead of time. You must have heard of an offhand remark or an offhand comment, or to do something off the cuff. Oh, that's the next one actually I have. To do something this one is hyphenated, off the cuff. Off the cuff actually is an idiom, and it's not a formal speech, it is colloquial. When did we learn the word colloquial? I don't know. For those of you who do not know the meaning of the word colloquial, watch the earlier videos, and there was one day when I covered this word colloquial. Just give me 1 second, I'll tell you in a minute. A colloquial speech is an speech, it's an informal speech. It was covered on day number 5. So if you want to learn this word properly, go to day number 5 video. I'm going to put it in the manner that I usually put. Colloquial is the word, and then I put down 5 in here. 5 means you're going to find it on day number 5. It's an informal speech. So you're not going to hear this in a formal speech or formal writing. It's an informal idiom. To do something off the cuff means to do something without pre-planning, just to do something spontaneously. So the offhand remark or offhand comment is something that is off the cuff, it's spontaneous, it's without pre-planning. It is impromptu. Impromptu. What else do I have here? To do something, oh, here we go. Impromptu means something that is done extemporaneous. The word is extemporaneous, and finally we need an adverb. Extemporaneously. To do something extemporaneously means to do something on the spur of the moment, without any pre-planning, without any premeditation, to do something off the cuff, offhand. And finally, something that is done without premeditation. There you go. The word was impromptu. That's it. Let's move on then. What I want to do next is to go into a little bit more detail. With this word. I would like to learn this word properly. So that's what we're going to do. Where should we put it? I need the room, so I need to erase everything. But the beauty, of course, is that you can pause the video and take a look at it for as long as you want, as opposed to sitting in the classroom where the blackboard is erased and it's gone forever. So here it is. I'm going to erase it and everything, and we're going to cover this word in more detail. So one more time, impromptu means to do something on the spur of the moment, without having thought about it ahead of time, without any pre-planning, to do something spontaneously, to do something offhand comment, offhand remark, or you ask somebody, do you happen to know how much this thing is offhand? Which means offhand means without having to look it up in the computer, without having to go in the back in the storage, and do you know if you have 10 of these things? And the guy begins to look in the computer. He says, no, but just offhand. Do you know it offhand? Which means do you know it or without having to do any formal work for it. To know or to say something offhand means to say something spontaneously. So what is extemporaneous? We're going to learn this now. Extemporaneous. Let's see. I have a black marker here. I don't know how good it is. Extemporaneous, which means done without any or with very little. Let's change the marker. This thing is dying. Very little preparation. So to do something with a very little or virtually no preparation is to do it extemporaneously. An extemporaneous performance is a performance that is not rehearsed or not rehearsed too much. You do probably one rehearsal and then you go on the stage and you do your show. That show is extemporaneous. Do you understand? impromptu. We just learned it. To do something in an impromptu manner is to do something extemporaneously. An unrehearsed, you can't read my handwriting if I start. Unrehearsed is what I'm looking here. Unrehearsed speech, or as I said before, unrehearsed performance. Something that is unpremeditated. Something is missing here. Something that is unpremeditated. That's it. The word was extemporaneous. I like the word, so I figured why not learn it. Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to talk about, in a little bit more detail, about this word. Premeditated. So we're going to erase everything, and we're going to go in a little bit more detail with the word premeditated. Okay? We're done with extemporaneous. The word premeditated has the prefix of pre, so let's first talk about meditated. What does it mean to meditate? Meditate. The verb meditate simply means to think, to ponder, to reflect upon something. Here the word reflect means to think. Reflect has two meanings. A light can be reflected, or if you say that I was reflecting on it, you might say to something, well, on my way home, on my drive to my way home, I was reflecting on the conversation that we had, and so on and so forth. If you were reflecting on the conversation that you had with a person a little while ago, in that context, reflect means to think about it. Reflect upon something. Or you can say upon reflection, which means upon thinking a little bit more about it, I have come to a different conclusion. Upon reflection, I realized that what I said yesterday was not exactly correct. Or upon reflection, I realized that the offer that I made yesterday, I have to retract it. I have to take it back. Upon reflection means having thought about it. To think, to ponder, to reflect, to plan. Or it can also mean, the one meaning of the word meditate most people know is the last one that I'm going to put here, which means to engage in contemplation. As in some religious activity, in Buddhism people engage in meditation. That's one meaning of the word meditation, but that's a very narrow meaning of the word meditation, which is to engage in contemplation. But then broadly speaking, the word simply means to think. So if meditate means to think, then if meditate means to think, then premeditate means to think of something ahead of time. Premeditate. So to do something in an unpremeditated manner. So now we stick one more. Unpremeditated. Meditate means to think. Premeditate means think ahead of time. Unpremeditated means to not to have thought of it ahead of time. To not have thought of it ahead of time. Unpremeditated means spontaneous. That's why in the eyes of the law, one speaks of two kinds of murder. The premeditated murder, and then the plain old vanilla murder, if you like, which is not premeditated. It just happens on the spur of the moment. That's it. What else do I have? That was it for today. We are done. So the words we learned today were, first word was abdicate, which had to do with the words that we learned yesterday on day number 32, with ceding your power. If you cede your power or authority, you're abdicating it. To give up a position of power or responsibility, or simply to give up your throne. Then the words that we want to learn, the words that I wanted to learn today were, actually impromptu is what we want to learn, and from impromptu means to do something in an unpremeditated manner, without having thought about it ahead of time, to do something spontaneously, to do something offhand, to do something on the spur of the moment, to do something off the cuff, extemporaneously. And then we learned about extemporaneous, and of course from there we had to learn the word premeditate and meditate. That's all. So premeditate means to plan ahead of time. To plan ahead of time. To plan ahead of time. And therefore unpremeditated means spontaneous. They are of course antonyms because of the prefix un. That's it, we're done for today. I hope you found it helpful. And that's the idea, learn a few new words every day. Some days are going to be good days, and some days are going to be not so good. It will happen with you and it will happen with me. I just picked these words, there is no pattern here. I just picked them up from my reading here and there, wherever the words I pick up, and if I decided I want to learn it better, I want to learn it in a more formal way, and that's what I do. I make a list of it, and I make the video because it also forces me to learn them properly, and hopefully you'll get something out of it. Okay? If you wish to get hold of me for personal private tutoring, I do tutoring for all of these exams that you see there, the GRE, the GMAT, SAT and the TOEFL. If you wish to get hold of me, if there's anything that I can help you with in your preparation for any of these tests, go to any of this website, prepforgre.com, prepforgmat.com, prepforsat.com, or prepfortoefl.com, and you can send me an email from there. Or you can simply go to kashwaniprep.com and you can get hold of me from there as well. Alright? Thank you.